The iPhone 17e and M4 iPad Air are here, and Apple is being very clear on who they're targeting with these upgrades. With A19 for incredible performance, double the entry storage, a smarter camera system, and enhanced durability, iPhone 17e is designed to stay fast, secure, and valuable for years to come. But of course, there's a lot of hidden things that Apple did and didn't change about these devices that we should talk about. First, the iPhone 17e. This upgrade brings one of the most requested features that was absent from the iPhone 16e, which is, of course, MagSafe. But it's important to note that MagSafe on the iPhone 17e isn't the same as MagSafe on the rest of the iPhone 17 lineup, as MagSafe on the iPhone 17e is capped at 15 watts, unlike the rest of the iPhone 17 lineup, which is at 25 watts. It's still a huge upgrade from the iPhone 16e's abysmal 7.5 watt wireless charging. The A19 chip in the iPhone 17e is also not the same as the A19 chip in the iPhone 17. Just like the 16e, the A19 chip is binned with a 4-core GPU rather than a 5-core GPU. It's still probably going to be the fastest phone you can buy in this price range. In addition, while the camera hardware on the iPhone 17e is unchanged, the software now supports the same next-gen portrait photos introduced with the iPhone 15. But since the camera hardware is unchanged, that also means the front camera is completely unchanged, as it still remains the same 12 megapixel camera from the iPhone 14. Battery life, according to Apple, is also completely unchanged with the iPhone 17e. And while the iPhone 17e does gain the C1X 5G modem from the iPhone Air, its other connectivity standards are still lacking. It doesn't support Wi-Fi 7 or even Wi-Fi 6E. It doesn't support Bluetooth 6 or even Bluetooth 5.4. And most unfortunately is the lack of UWB. No U2 or even U1 chip. Now, while some other companies lack this on their $900 phones, Samsung, it's especially disappointing on the iPhone, as this means precision finding with the AirTag is not supported, or handoff with HomePod or HomePod Mini is also not supported. It's especially disappointing when you realize that the iPhone 11 from 6.5 years ago, the oldest device supported by iOS 26, had at least a U1 chip. Not only that, the USB-C port is still limited on the iPhone 17e. Other USB-C iPhones support video output via the USB-C port and DisplayPort, whereas the iPhone 17e does not. This was a limitation of the iPhone 16e and even the iPhone Air as well, but it's still disappointing. And just like the rest of the iPhone 17 lineup, the iPhone 17e is now eSIM only in more places than just the US. It's not eSIM only globally like the iPhone Air, but it's eSIM only in more countries that did have a SIM card before. Overall, I'm actually pretty impressed with the iPhone 17e. Despite sticking with the dated design with a notch, the simple fact that it's the same price for 256 gigs of storage really cements its value. Sure, you could probably find an iPhone 16 or 16 Pro for even less than the 17e, but it likely won't have 256 gigs, and it assuredly wouldn't have as good of battery life, nor as good of a chip. That A19 chip sets this phone up for so many years to come. Plus, you'll definitely be able to get some great carrier deals for this phone. So, I can't believe I'm saying this, especially after last year, but the iPhone 17e is worth it. I don't love it, but for $599, it's hard to find an iPhone this full-featured with this amount of storage and this level of longevity for the same price. Fair play, Apple. Now, let's talk about the iPad Air, which is pretty underwhelming. In fact, the image I showed you was actually the 2025 iPad Air. Actually, that's a lie as well. That's the 2024 iPad Air. Yeah, the colors, wallpapers, and marketing images are the exact same as the past two iPad Airs. But even with this exact same look, there are some minor changes. Obviously, it gains the M4 chip, but this M4 chip has been very binned. While on paper, it has an 8-core CPU and 9-core GPU, just like the M3 and M2 iPad Air, it's been differently binned. Its 8-core CPU is now a 3 performance and 5 efficiency core layout, rather than the old 4 performance and 4 efficiency layout. This is likely using a binned version of the M4 chip from the base model 2024 iPad Pro, which had a 3 performance and 6 efficiency layout. That, in and of itself, was already binned from the full 10-core M4 with 4 performance and 6 efficiency cores, combined with the 9-core GPU that's been binned, and yes, this chip has now been triple binned. But on the bright side, the unified memory has been bumped up from 8 gigs to 12 gigs of RAM now with 0 price increases, alongside a bump in memory bandwidth to 120 gigabytes a second, but we already knew that. But the worst part of the new iPad Air is that it still starts at 128 gigs of storage, which is complete bullshit. The fact that the iPhone 17e went up to 256 gigs for the same $599 price as this iPad Air, yet the iPad Air is still 128 gigs in 2026 is ridiculous. And that's just for the 11-inch. When you bump up to the 13-inch, things get even more absurd. At $799 for 128 gigs, when the iPhone 17 that costs the same has 256 gigs, is just plain stupid. And when you bump up to 256 gigs on the 13-inch, it ends up costing $900, which is a tough pill to swallow. You can easily find the significantly better 13-inch M4 iPad Pro for around the same or even cheaper than that secondhand. Now yes, it'll have less RAM at 8 gigs instead of 12 gigs, and it'll have worse wireless, but everything else will be better. The display will be miles ahead. The design will be so much thinner, and the M4 SoC itself is going to be faster due to less binning. And really, the iPad Air itself is now in a weird position, especially since very soon, likely this week, we'll see a new base iPad with A18 or A19 and Apple Intelligence with 8 gigs of RAM. The value proposition for the iPad Air starts to look very wary. The 11-inch iPad Air versus this rumored base iPad doesn't make a lot of sense. Aside from the SoC, the only big difference is the better display. Now, while that's significant, is it $250 significant? To most, probably not. And especially since the iPhone Air brought back meaning and character to the Air branding, the iPad Air has not. It's significantly thicker and heavier than the iPad Pro. In fact, the 13-inch iPad Air, despite being called an Air, is actually the heaviest iPad in the lineup. The iPad Air just feels like it's a lost product in its current state. And if you're looking to buy one, either wait for the next base iPad or find an M2 or M3 iPad Air refurbished. Apple now sells the M2 iPad Air for just $399 refurbished and the M3 for $469 refurbished. And at those prices, the iPad Air is very worth it. And frankly, you'll be getting 99% of the experience of the new one. So that's the iPhone 17e and iPad Air M4. What do you guys think about these new devices? Let me know in the comments.